Hey, I'm back again. This is Misbehaving, and the name of my channel is Misbehaving is Fun, where I talk about real people, real problems, and real drama. And hey, even celebrities are real people too. But baby, I'm not talking about them today. I'm gonna focus on me and us, the everyday working class people that have to punch in on that time clock. And we got a family to take care of and bills to pay. All right, all right. Today is Saturday, February 3rd, 2024, the third day of February. And as I've stated before, I will not be saying Happy Black History Month because Black History is 24/7, 365 days out of the year. Baby, we don't get no break after the month of February has concluded. But honey, if y'all read the title of this particular video, it's I ain't the one to gossip, but we in danger, girl. Hey, real talk with Lady D. Good morning, good morning. Hey, if there's some cloud watchers or if you watch this video after it has ended, make sure you go over to Real Talk with Lady D. Check my community wall. I believe I've shared a video of hers. I simply enjoy her. Lady D, I love your voice. Your voice reminds me, and I'm not saying you are old, but it reminds me of a favorite aunt of my mother's. She was like a play aunt. You know how we do in our community. We always adopt someone, and where you don't necessarily have to be blood related. But your voice sounds like hers, and it's so soothing. Ooh, baby. I don't want to get off track, Lady D, but if you wanted to be a woman of the telephone, use that nice little seductive voice of yours to earn a few coins on the side, I know you can become wealthy doing that. That old southern, I love it. I love it though. I love your accent. I love everything. But baby, I believe. Now this is my belief. This is why I said stop, proceed with caution. I believe that there is a social science experiment being conducted here on YouTube. I really do. I feel that in my soul. Something is telling me that there are some very wealthy people just sitting back and enjoying us go back and forth with each other, tear each other down. And it doesn't matter what race we are, our sexual orientation, our socioeconomic status, they just like to see the drama here on YouTube. And then I thought that all this foolishness was only reserved for what I call the beef sector. There's a sector of YouTube called the beef sector. And then thanks to VS Icon, earlier last year we were introduced to another sector called the Mo3 sector. And I said, oh, good God, they're worse than the B sector. I mean, heavens, honey. But I thought it was reserved to those two sectors. But honey, they said they got it in the black tea sector. And now I see how people are acting a fool over here in the love and marriage Huntsville sector. I mean, they are acting crazy. Now I've watched a few unmelanated content creators channels, and I haven't seen this, but I haven't stuck around long enough to see if they get stuck in the drama going back and forth. But I heard they do it also to one another. But I'm talking about our community. It's a mess. I really think it's a social experiment going on. Like I mean, they are really getting kicks and giggles. Anyway, since I'm talking about real people, we're going to focus on me because I'm going to put this out here. Because everything I'm going to tell you is the truth. The only thing I may change are the locations, the dates, and the name of the people. Because I have to protect the innocent. And unfortunately, I have to protect the guilty. But if anything ever were to happen to me, this is going to be like my social diary where it is documented, where I have said it, and it'll be easy to tie it back to who the culprits may be. I'm not claiming it. I ain't never afraid. I know I'm protected. I know I'm covered. I have survived a lot of things throughout my life to get to where I'm at today. I don't profess to know the Bible forwards and backwards, but what I do know is that there's a higher power and there's a reason that I'm still alive and why I have survived the things that I have survived and why I am able to be empathetic and compassionate to others. Now, throughout this live, I may have to mute the mic because I am a mother and I have to tend to my son. He got a little bit of bubble guts. I don't know what his father fed him last night, but he just wasn't doing good. He's feeling a little better this morning, and I went ahead and I have him ran him a bubble bath. He loves being in the water. I'll share a little bit of information about me for those of you that have not had the opportunity to listen to my videos. I talk about a variety of things. I have adult children, and whew, Lord, look how that works. I ended up getting pregnant later in life with my son, who is now 12. He's dual diagnosed with autism and Down syndrome. And so, you know, I try not to be too hard on Melody, but with the things that I've been through, I know you can peacefully coexist with the father of your child. I'm going to share some stories of what my son's father has done to me, but for the benefit of our son, I've always remained cordial with him because of our son. But that doesn't make me a fool and it doesn't make me weak. It's putting my son first. So, with that being said, I'm going to mute this mic for a moment. Let me go check on my son because I think he's ready to get out the tub, and then we'll chit chat. Put your comments in the comment section. If you have any questions, I have to figure out and learn how to put the link to pull somebody up here. But I just bought a brand new laptop. I think I bought it last weekend because I broke my expensive one. The uh, laptop fell down and it broke the cord off into the laptop. So when I was making videos last week, I was doing it from my phone. And hold on one second, just one moment. Okay, I got him situated in a place that's comfortable. So there are several things going on with Melody and Cherie. I mean Melody, Cherie, and Martell. And in some ways I can empathize with her, um, and others I cannot. And in some ways I can empathize with Martell, in some ways I cannot. What I want to share is I am a native of California. Many years ago, I fell in love with a man that's born and raised in the South. Hey, Benj Thinker. I fell in love with a man from the South. I don't come from the best upbringing, but he came from a lovely family two-parent home, and his family is well known in this city where I live. They are politically connected. There are attorneys in this family, politicians in this family. Uh, I definitely know there's a doctor. I don't know how many doctors are in this family, but they are very, very well known. Many years ago, while living out here, uh, I had my son. All of my family were back in California. Good morning, Life with Tashana. Hello, hello. Good morning, everybody. Subscribe to Miss Real Talk with Lady D, Miss Bench Thinker. Bench Thinker. I know you have a channel, but you don't go live very much. But everybody that's here, even if you're hanging out in the cloud, support everyone. Subscribe to their channel. That's what I make a habit of doing, especially when people leave a comment in my comment section, even if it's a negative towards me or I subscribe to your channel. I'm going to support you no matter what because we need to get in the habit in our community of supporting one another. We don't all have to think alike, but let's support one another. I mean, other communities can support each other. How come we can't do it? I mean, we have to be the first to make the change. But many years ago, I had my son. I was shocked when I got pregnant. I was in denial because, baby, I was at a particular age and I was like, shoot, I was counting down my days to my youngest daughter. I mean, she would be going off to college and I could finally be me. I can do things I want to do because I had my first child at the age of 18. And I've always been overprotective of my children because of traumas that I went through as a child. But anyway, we're going to skip all of that and we're going to get to currently why I can identify with some of the things that Melody is going through. And I can also empathize with Martell being a father. So I fall in love with this man here in the South whose family is well known and politically connected. I had my child. I did not learn that my child was diagnosed, uh, had Down syndrome, and some may know it also as trisomy 21 until after my son was born. And exactly, it was 5 days after my son is born. Although I'm a registered nurse, right? My son looks just like his father, the spitting image of his father. Really? Okay, so we kindred sisters. So, everyone was there at the hospital. There were pediatricians coming in each day at the hospital, and they would tell me my son was healthy. No one ever told me that they, suspected that my son may have Down syndrome. They just kept telling me he was happy, he was doing well. And then on the fifth day, his pediatrician happened to come in. And his pediatrician, I really liked him. I don't want to use the word love, but I really liked him. He was very nice. You know how you get a feeling for people, and I really liked him. And so he told my son's father and I, as we're sitting there, and uh, extended family members are sitting there in the room, that he tends to agree with the other physicians that our son has Down syndrome. So I'm looking at him shocked, because not shocked because of being told that my son has Down syndrome, but I'm sitting there in shock because the previous 4 days, four other uh, pediatricians have come in, looked at my son, talked to us, and told us how healthy he was, but not once did anyone mention Down syndrome. So then I mentioned this to my son's pediatrician, and he says, well, what we'll do the genetic testing because uh, there is mosaic Down syndrome, where there are some children that are infants that are diagnosed with that do not have the features of Down syndrome, but they do, and that's called mosaic. And then you have children, that do have the features, and sometimes they don't have it, and sometimes they do. But he'll do the genetic testing. So, as a mother, I've shared traumas that I've experienced as a child with my son's father. And the first thing in my mind, I'm thinking, because I'm a nurse and I know about Down syndrome, although children weren't my specialty has always been cardiology. And you all would be amazed, although I love psych nursing now, and it's one of my loves, I didn't get into psych nursing, behavioral health until 2013, and that was by circumstance, and that's a whole nother video. But anyway, uh, now I'm sitting there and what's going through my mind is protection mode. How will I protect my baby? What happens as he grows older? What happens, once we go on, to the afterlife? Who's going to protect him? I know he has older siblings, but those are the things, the thoughts that are going through my mind, through my head. And so anyway, everything's fine, but his family, his mother, and everything is telling me, pray to God. In our community, we never talk about we do need therapy. We need to talk to someone. It's always pray to God. And I'm not saying not pray to God, because there were times that I definitely had prayed to God while my son was in the hospital, because the my son ended up having open heart surgery at the age of 5. I mean, 5 weeks old, not 5 weeks old. And what happened was, while my son was in the hospital, they kept him for a week because they did an echo and discovered that he had a hole in his heart. And so they just wanted to make sure he was stable. Then we were released from the hospital. I know, baby. I know. I'm not telling your name. I'm not disclosing your information. That's my son. Oh my God, my kids are so spoiled. I'm so strict with them, but they are so spoiled. Man, but I love them. So, a week after we get out the hospital, we go to see his pediatrician, and I tell his pediatrician, I said, every time my son eats, he falls asleep, but when he's coughing, it sounds like Strider. And Strider, for those of you that aren't in the medical community, it deals with respirations, your respiratory sounds, how you're breathing, how you're inhaling oxygen. And it sounded like a high pitch, like screeching sound, as if the airway is being constricted. So he wasn't getting enough oxygen. So I was telling his pediatrician is, that's the sound he makes each time he's talking. I mean, coughing, it sounds like Strider. So his pediatrician explained it away as that because he has Down syndrome, a lot of the children, their laryngeal rings are softened, and then the high volume of uh, air pressure coming through, it makes that loud noise. Fast forward, no, my son had what was called left pulmonary vascular sling. He ended up having to have emergency open heart surgery because his left pulmonary artery was encircling his trachea and esophagus, and each time his heart would beat, it was cutting off his airway. So we went through that. And then by the time my son was, I believe, 1 years old, his father, they went behind my back, served, got papers to kick me and my children out his home. His mother was aware. Um, it's just a long story. I would have to make several short videos as not to talk so long. But I ended up going back home to California with my son. Going through that traumatic experience, you think I would be bitter and hateful and spiteful, and yeah, I want to bust him upside the head. My brothers, they wanted to do that. They were like, if he comes out here to California, we're gonna get him. But I've always believed that fathers need to be involved in their children's lives. It doesn't mean I'm gonna be a sucker. I'm a fighter. I'm a survivor because I've been through a lot. But I'm gonna put my children first. So slowly but surely, I brought my son back out to visit his father first. The first visit back, I let his mother, I let the grandmother know, I let them all know. Because at that time we had gone to court and we both had joint custody. I was the primary custodial parent. His father was secondary. So there was never anything in the court order that said that I had to remain in the state here in the South where he's from, and I couldn't take him out that state back to California. So they did all of that plotting and planning and everything behind the scenes, but they failed to put that in there. And baby, once I got out of court, I packed up my vehicle, baby. I only had $1,200 to my name and two credit cards. And I drove my butt, baby. I was so paranoid because of whom they all knew and were connected with here in this city that I shut off my cell phone and I drove. I drove as far as I could until I got to one spot, and each night, my children and I, at that time, it was just me, my son, and my daughter, who's now a speech therapist. Well, speech language pathologist with a master's degree. Hey, not bad. for a teenage mom, okay? Now, I got a bachelor's degree in nursing, but shoot, she's inspiring me, but I don't want to go write no more papers, and I'm still paying off my student loans. So, baby, mm-mm, But anyway, so the first time I brought him back, I let his family know if anybody tries to take my son from me, I'm telling you, because in my mind I was thinking they were gonna file papers so I couldn't take him back out of the state. Thank you very much. Thank you. And so I said, if anybody try to take my son from me, I'm telling you, I'm getting rid of everybody. Everybody. And the grandmother said, oh God, oh Haven, stop talking that foolishness. Nobody's gonna take him. And I told her, I said, I'm serious. If anybody tries to take my son from me, I'm getting rid of everybody. Well, we come on out here. And my son loves the water. Oh, he's just a water bug. So we go down to the beach and everything was fine. Everything was happy. The family, extended family were there. You know, it reminded me of the good times. Almost got sucked back in, but that other voice, baby, that other voice popped in that left ear of mine and said, Heifer, don't you forget how he did you. So I still remain friendly, but what ended up happening is because since everything went well that first visit after I left with my son, I started allowing my son every summer he would come back to the South and then he would come back to California to me. The only reason my son ended back out here uh, is because something, an emergency happened out in California. I didn't trust anyone with my son. So, because his father had such a large, influential now, such a good, distinguished family here in the South, that I allowed him to come back out here with his father. The grandmother, she was the caregiver. Hold on just 1 second. He's calling me. Let me go check on him. So, anyway, um, his grandmother was his caregiver out here. Um, and when it was time for him to come back to California, I told his father I'm on my way to get my son to bring him back to California. He let me know that his mother had been diagnosed with cancer. Since my son is the youngest grandchild and the only boy, the only grandson, and with her being so instrumental in his life, I decided I won't bring them back to California at this time. I want her to be surrounded by all of her children and her grandchildren. Well, when she did pass on, called my son's father and I said, okay, I'm coming out there to get my son to bring him back to California to be with me because I miss my son. He needs to be back here in California. Plus, there's better resources for him. So his father began to cry and ask me to please don't take his boy. Please don't take his son from him. And I felt bad and I said, okay. So then that meant I had to make a decision. Either I, stay apart from my son or I go back to the South where my son is at to be with him. And I believed that it was best for my son to have both parents in his life. So I came back to the South. Now, I know when people are politically connected in the city, they can make some things disappear. They can make court cases be fast tracked in the court system. And sometimes your calls for help go unignored. But my advice to Melody Cherie Rogers would be this, because although she's not doing most of the talking and her supporters are the ones that are doing the talking, those content creators that are doing the talking, she is often in their lives, in their comment sections, or she's responding back to their comments when they go onto her Instagram page. You know the Melody as Hope Instagram page. You know the one with the name Hope, that of the man that she despises, that brings her uh such headache that she refuses to let go change. So by approving, supporting, and acknowledging these content creators that are saying these negative things by Martell, in essence, you know, you are supporting them. And as long as they continue to make these negative videos taunting Martell or labeling him viciously or villainizing him, of course, you're going to have uh, beef with Martell. I would advise to let it go. Melody, you are way in such a better place than I ever was. Than I ever was. If your supporters love you, they wouldn't do that. And they'll listen to you. All you have to do is tell your supporters to just focus on you and all the good things you have going on instead of and shaking and rattling that cage and supporting them while they put out these heinous, malicious, and libelous story against Martell. Martell's no angel. You don't always have to put what people do on Front Street. Eventually, it'll come to the light, as my grandmother would say. My grandmother said, whatever's done in the dark will come to the light. And it will. All you have to do is do the right thing, be fair, and it all will be revealed. And I'll do further videos about what I'm going through because I'm up against a very influential family. But all I know is I'm a fighter. And as long as my child is safe, my children are safe, hey, and I do the right thing and speak the truth, I know nothing can hurt me. But see, there's a lot of things that these folks have done. And I would hate for anybody to lose their good government job. You don't want to lose your job by breaking the law. See, 12 years ago, I didn't know any better. I didn't know any better. I didn't know who to go to, who to trust. I don't trust anymore now because now I know the extent and the depth of who all his family is connected to. But I know with social media, there's an outlet and there's a platform for me to share my story and get my truth out there. So if anything were to ever occur, it will be investigated. I'm misbehaving. The name of this channel is Misbehaving is Fun, where I talk about real people, real problems, and real drama. Hey, we're all living day to day, but I know most of us are thankful and grateful to still be alive. And we may not have the most, we may not have the best, but at least we have something. We are in our right state of mind. We are able to walk. We are able to talk. There are some people that can't even do that. And then to those of you that feel like giving up, you feel like you don't have any support, you feel like the world is against you, I want to tell you this, and please listen to my voice, and I'm being sincere, and I'm not saying this for a clicking of you. Please don't give up. Please don't give up. I want you to fight. I want you to push through, and you can make it because there is somebody that can relate to you. There is someone with your testimony, your story that can help. Don't give up because once about a time, there was a time that me, the most positive person, the most friendly person, hell, I've even given a man, I think I only had $60 to my name, and I gave him $20 of it when I was going through my most depressive moment and I was homeless. Yes, I was. But I shared that $20 with that man. But don't give up. That ain't nothing but a demon or a devil trying to talk you into doing something that you don't want to do. And I can honestly say, once I arrived here and arrived to be back with my son, I've never had that thought. I've never had that feeling ever again. So, y'all have a beautiful day. Y'all be safe on these YouTube streets. Have fun. It's okay to be a little pet messy. And it's okay to be a little petty. But at the end of the day, have some compassion. Hit the like, subscribe, and share the video. Have a good day. And there's my baby now. Let me go be a mother.